नमस्सर्वेभ्यः। प्रथमं भारतमातुः शरणारविन्दे मदीय नमस्कारान् समर्पयामि। मंचे उपविश्य उमा महोदय, स्मिता महोदय, राजी महोदय, अत्र उपविष्टाः माता पितरः, छात्राः, संस्कृतभक्ताः, संस्कृत अनुरागिणः सर्वेषां कृते मदीय नमस्कारान् समर्पयामि। अहम् अत्र पर्यन्तं यद् किमपि उक्तवान् सर्वे अवगतवन्तः किम्? Did people understand what I spoke till now? किञ्चिदपि न? 30%, 50%? अस्तु, अहम् अतः मिश्रणं कृत्वा वदिष्यामि। संस्कृतेन यदि पूर्णम् अहं वदिष्यामि चेत् तद् जनानां कृते किञ्चित् क्लिष्टं भवति, तदनन्तरं सर्वे निद्रां कुर्वन्ति अग्रे। अतः निद्रा न करणीया। अतः अहम् आङ्ग्लभाषां संस्कृतं मिश्रणं कृत्वा वदिष्यामि। मम हिन्दीभाषाज्ञानं तावत् सम्यक् नास्ति, अतः अहं संस्कृतम् आङ्ग्लभाषा। आङ्ग्लभाषा अत्र कति जनाः अवगच्छन्ति? How many people here understand English? सर्वे। कति जनाः अत्र सरल संस्कृतम् अवगच्छन्ति? न्यूनाः एव, चिन्ता मास्तु। कति जनाः, कति छात्राः अत्र विद्यालये संस्कृतं पठन्तः सन्ति इदानीं? पाठयन्तः, पठन्तः च। How many of you learn Sanskrit in the classes these days in school? Yeah. पृष्ठभागे अपि बहवः जनाः सन्ति। संस्कृतं तु सरलमेव, कठिनं नास्ति, मधुरा भाषा एव। ये जनाः कामपि भारतीय भाषां जानन्ति ते सर्वे किञ्चित् कान्सन्ट्रेशन् कुर्वन्ति चेत् संस्कृतं सम्यक् रीत्या अवगच्छन्ति। It is not that I have learned Sanskrit from my childhood. At your age, I was also away from Sanskrit. Rather, in my childhood, I found children, all the top students, high-scoring students, including my own brother who is a high scorer. They all took Sanskrit because they are easy to get 99-100 marks. So I thought, इतना कष्ट करके 100 marks नहीं चाहिए. My मातृभाषा is Malayalam. उसमें कुछ पढ़ने का भी नहीं ज़्यादा. And I can write an exam and I can easily get above average marks. So I ran away from Sanskrit. I never ever thought in my life, later in my corporate life, later in my life, I will start learning Sanskritam. केवलं वर्ष चतुष्टय पूर्वमेव, just 4.5 years ago, कोविड काले एव। तस्मिन् समये मम हस्ते समयः, अवकाशसमयः अधिकः जातः। किमर्थं? मम तु कार्यालये कार्यं तु सर्वत्र ट्रावेल् एव। इत्युक्ते अद्य दिल्ली, श्वः बेङ्गलूरु, परश्वः इटली, एतादृशं मम कार्यम्। अतः मम हस्ते तु तस्मिन् समये तु ट्रावेल् सर्वं स्थगनम् अभवत्। तस्मिन् समये एव मम संस्कृतविषये रुचिः जातः। अहम् आरम्भं कृतवान्, पठनारम्भं कृतवान्। इदानीं किञ्चित् सम्यक् रीत्या संस्कृतं सर्वेषाम् अत्र पुरतः स्थित्वा वक्तुं शक्नोमि। Did you understand what I said? I also use little English words in between so that you can understand. Now, what attracted me to this language? That is important, right? There are so many other languages. Janaah Spanish patantah santi, French patantah santi. Just a time check. I have seen a clock here. So you should let me know when I should. I can go on and go on and go on. So just let me know. निमिषद्वयपूर्वं वदतु, अहं तस्मिन् समये स्थगनं करिष्यामि. So Sanskrit is a very scientific language. So that is the first thing that I want to tell all of you. In any other language, what is this called? Mic or microphone. The abbreviation of a mic. So why is it called a microphone? Is it a phone? What do you call a mobile device? It's a phone, right? What is this? Table, chair, glass, shirt, trouser. And बाल्यकालतः वयम् एतत् सर्वं पठितवन्तः। अतः अस्माकं स्मृत्याम् एते सर्वे पदानि सन्ति एव, किन्तु there is no logic behind all of this. Hair, why is it called a hair? But Samskrite एतादृशं नास्ति. Sanskrit is a property-based language. Everything is based on the property. For example, a mobile phone is Duravani. Everybody understands what is Duravani? Duravani. Jangama Duravani, to make it a little more complicated. Jangama means mobile. Sthavara means stable. Jangama means mobile. So Jangama Duravani is what you can call a mobile. Similarly, a mobile can also be called Chala Bhasha. Chala Bhasha, chalti hai, sab jante hain, Bhasha. So you can coin your own words, and it is not that. Every word in Sanskritam has got a rule based on which the name is formed. For example, Jalam, okay, water. Water is a word that everybody understands. What are the synonyms? Paryayavachi Shabdani Vadandu Angala Bhashayam Jalam iti Padasya. For water, what is the synonyms of water in English language? H2O is the chemical name. If you say aqua and all, somebody will say there is something wrong with this fellow. Aqua and all is not an English word, even though you can use it. But Samskrite yadi vayam vadamaha chet jalam, salilam, neeraha, anp, apaha. There are, I think, some 200 paryayavachis of jalam itself. So I thought it's very tough. 200 paryayavachis, how do you remember that? But everything is based on a property of water. Jalam ityukte yad jalate, that which freezes. That is what jalam means. So everybody understands, right? Below a particular temperature, water freezes and it becomes ice, right? So that's the property. Neeraha. Neeraha comes from the ni dhatu, which means that which can carry forward. And everybody knows water can carry forward everything, right? In Mumbai rains, we can see it's carrying the entire city. In tsunami in 2008, people have seen that, right? This entire 2005, I think, I don't know when it was. The entire country was taken by it can carry things forward, and water will, in a full force, the water can actually carry everything in its direction. So niyate ataha neeraha. Similarly, vari comes from vrudhatu, okay, which again the property of that is what that can become vapor. So that's why that's how the name vari comes. So salilam, apaha, apas, all these words of the synonyms of jalam have a meaning, and there are 28 properties of water actually. So you will also understand the property of an object when you name the object. So you can yourself, there are certain rules of naming philosophy, and anybody who knows a little bit of mathematics, derivation, addition, subtraction will start loving Sanskrit. So it is also a high scoring subject because of these reasons also. There is a logic behind it, and if you are able to crack the logic, then you are able to crack the subject, and then you are able to get high scoring marks. But we also thought that, I'm also from IIT Bombay clan, so we also thought that this language is just limited to textbooks, right? Nobody speaks it. So we have a program called Sahasra Mukheshu Sanskrit. 1,000+ people in the city, in the suburb that I live in, called Pavai, we will speak Sanskrit as a language. So yadi vayam bhashyate anaya iti bhasha, that which is spoken or that which is used to communicate is a bhasha, right? So if the language just remains as a textbook language in scriptures, in Bhagavad Gita, in Ramayanam, and in Upanishads and Vedas, that language will eventually decline, right? So we have decided to promote the language, because this language is a scientific language. A lot of technology students from IIT Bombay are working with me, and I work with them to promote Sanskrit among the new generation. And that is the reason also why Rajiji and Smitaji have called me here, because what I want is the youngsters like you should learn this language, because this language has got everything what we can think about. And everybody thinks, it is just related to Hinduism or Hindu textbooks. No. Just 5% of the Sanskrit content that you have today is Vedas and Upanishads. Otherwise, there is enough other knowledge in Sanskrit. 45 lakh manuscripts of Sanskrit are available today, which are untouched, which are all written in palm leaves. Tadapatre Likhitavantaha. And in what subjects? Whether it is architecture, Sthabatya Shastram, whether it is Rasayana Shastram, whether it is Khagola Shastram, astronomy, whether it is Jyotisha Shastram, astrology, whether it is Kavyam, whether it is Katha, whether it is Bhautika Shastram, physics. And these are textbooks written by our ancestors thousands of years ago, and these are still available today, and we need to unearth the treasures of our country. And the only way we can unearth the treasures of our country is by reviving Sanskrit. Because every Bharatiya Bhasha, it is not just Bharatiya Bhashas alone, even Indo-European languages, Italian, French, German, they all have Sanskrit connections. And a lot of words, even in English, father comes from Pita, becomes Peter, Peter becomes father. Mata is mother. Or mother is Matra, is Mata. Daughter is Gaurithri in Sanskrit. So, Eta brother is Bhrata. So, there is a lot of connection, and if you are able to crack that connection, and then if you are able to revive the language, that will be the biggest, what I would say, is contribution of our generation to the mankind itself. Kevalam Bharatasya. And today, the biggest problem, which I was speaking to Umaji right now, the biggest problem is we talk about sustainability, we are talking about, the civilization that we are having today, what we are seeing around us today, how kids are getting, everybody, Ratrau Shayana Kale to Instagram Drishtva Eva Shayanam Kurvata. Kintu Instagram side mein Parshve Sthabhayitva Yati Tasmin Samaye Ramam, Skandam, Hanumantam, Vainateyam, Mrigodaram, Shayane Yah Pate Nityam. Tasya? He does not have Duswapnas. That's what the shloka is. So when you get up in the morning, if you start reciting Sanskrit shlokas, Karagre, Karamadhye, so what are you saying? You're saying in your hands is Lakshmi and Saraswati and Govinda and Gauri. With these hands, can you do Atyachar? Can you do Bhrashtachar? Can you do Mithyachar? So when you start getting up in the morning, if you say Karagre, Vasate, Lakshmi, looking at your hands, with these hands you cannot do wrong things. And Madhyana Same, Bhojana Same, Annapurne, Sadapurne, Shankara Prana Vallabhe. So it is not just Udara Poshanartha Kritam Bhojanam. It is about Jnana Vairagya Siddhyartham. So it is for the spiritual thought behind it is much beyond just food. Is not just for poshanam of your own stomach, but it is for jnana, vairagya, siddhya. You want to earn knowledge, because finally this is what the Annamaya Kosha and all that, it is all about creating knowledge, understanding yourself. And Sayankale, at the time of Sandhya Samaye, if you are Shubham Karoti Kalyanam, Arogyam Dana Sampada, Shatru Buddhi Vinashaya. Correct? That is what you should recite. And we have to teach our children all this. At this young age, if children learn all these things, it will remain with them throughout their life. And they will become ambassadors of Bharat. The entire world, if you look at it, is in big turbulence and turmoil. And everybody is looking at where can we get peace, and everything is in there in this Bharat. And the biggest contribution of Bharat that is in the coming century or in the coming millennium is our spiritual thoughts and our civilizational richness. Taduktva Samayaha Bhavatidi. I'll be here for some more time. Karyakramaha sarvam aham drashtum ichchami tadanandaram aham idah gamishyami sarvesham krite mama atra आमन्त्रणस्य कृते धन्यवादान् इति उक्त्वा अहं विरमामि. धन्यवादः.
Thank you, sir. It was really enlightening and captivating, sir. धन्यवादः.